Well, where did that come from?
Well, hopefully being humbled a little bit, being a little more coachable, disappointed, frustrated. We said take it out on whoever we're going to play, but and maybe just figuring it out slowly but surely. But we'll see Saturday. We just got to keep making progress. The older guys have to be consistent and efficient. And, I thought Xavier got us off to a great start, obviously made some shots, but, sharing the basketball. Cardi, he's got to take pride. And 10 assists, it's big time. He's one of the best in the country. Continue that and doing it at a high clip, because when he drives, he can create for a lot of people. And so, if those guys are efficient, we got to get Matt going a little more. We need him. He can't be floating around. But if those three are consistent, but the big thing with them is they got to demand that why we've won, and they've been part of it. They've been a major part of it. Why we've won's got to stay there. And I thought our first couple of possessions defensively were big time. Just like a clinic, all the things we teach. Our defensive pride has got to be there every day. We got to play hard. We played hard against Marquette, but they played harder, and that's why they beat us. It helps them. They made some shots, but they played their butts off in our place. And then, the toughness when you get in a game like coming up, Marquette game, or coming up against Mississippi State, and you get those gut check times. We got to have toughness, and that it's on both ends of the court. It's executing on the offensive end, and it's doing all the little things on the defensive end to get stops and find ways to win the game. So those are why we've won, along with sharing the basketball, and they got to make sure that continues to happen if we're going to move forward.
And can you give us a lowdown on why Sean Williams left the team?
Sean is, I'm disappointed, and Xavier's here, and he's been part of his life for a long time. And, when somebody doesn't make it and leaves, it's like a child for me. You want everyone to be successful. Not everyone is. Today's world of basketball, guys, they think it's always greener on the other side, and they're going to be able to do this or that. I think the ironic thing is, somebody sent me one of the NBA guys sent me an analysis of the drafts from I don't know how many years, the last 9 years, whatever it was, and only 4% of guys that transferred were a part of that draft list. Only 19 guys in that stretch, and some of those, and I think that top guys were like somebody went to Kentucky and somebody went to Duke or something like that. So I'm not sure. We had Scott Howard from the Denver Nuggets talk to our guys a couple years ago, and he said, "Why not transfer at the school you're at and get better?" But that's not what kids want to do, and I feel bad. He had to go through the suspension. I thought he was making some strides, but it wasn't what he wanted, and so we got to move forward. That gives David Sloan, I thought he did a great job, giving him more opportunity. Dejuan, and just wish him the best down the road.
Xavier, how impressed were you? The first half obviously very good, but the fact that you guys came out with such a big lead and didn't just, take it easy, give in. You kind of came out with the same aggressiveness in that second half.
We just wanted to come out there and show what we are about. We had a last 3 to 4 games, so we had to get back on the winning way and do the things the right way.
So if you go 8 of 10 from the field tonight, were you just feeling it, or were those shots open? Or I guess how would you kind of evaluate the way you shot the ball tonight?
My guys did a great job of finding me in spots. Had a couple open ones. The basket looks pretty big when you get a couple good ones to go down, so it was just a good night shooting.
You got 13 apiece from both Dejuan and Antonio tonight. Just thoughts on their effort in general as well as their scoring?
Yeah, they've been good. I talked the other night. They 12 on the play hard and against Marquette in a pretty big game as freshmen. Their first really big one with energy, national TV, all that stuff. They play their butts off. They don't always play perfect. They make mistakes, but they're starting to figure it out. I thought that, to me, the best play for Dejuan was his drop down pass. That's the best pass he's made since he's been here to I think it was Pearson for a layup. That's the stuff, he's got to continue to get better. I thought Antonio made a big time pass to Mac for a dunk. Those, you got to do more than just, score the basketball. You got to be able to execute and help teammates. But both of them very good. 13 and 8 for Antonio, close to a double-double. That's really positive. And then Dejuan he finally made a dunk, but the tip dunk, make that thing, and you really have a special night. He still turns it over a little too much, but he plays his butt off, and he's getting he's learning, figuring it out, and they've both been pretty coachable.
You anticipate having Montavious back for Saturday?
We're going to practice. He practiced a little bit. I told you that today, and the only thing is we just can't push it, and I got to trust the medical staff. And I think the probably one of the tough parts, and Xavier and I talked about, James Love actually got back in practice 2 days, and all of a sudden his foot hurt again. Nigel got back in practice one day, and then all of a sudden his knee hurt, and he has a similar injury to Montavious. So we just got to be smart and take our time with him. He says he has no pain, and just every day progress and see if we can, if you have to, maybe you use him a little bit on Saturday.
Xavier, we hear so often, like, when things come easy for guys, this is the things that maybe they didn't do right is what sticks with them. So for you, is like what it's going to stick with you is just the two missed free throws tonight?
Definitely, we've been working on free throws a lot, and I can't miss 2 in a row. Good shooters never miss 2 in a row, so that's just something. Get back on the free throw line, get back in the gym, make shots.
I'm not going to try to give you an excuse here, but, that was right after you got kind of really shaken up. Did that at all affect you on the shots?
No, I should have made the free throw still.
For both Xavier and Antonio, what's it like when David is in the game at point guard, getting the ball around to everybody? Is that different from when Sean and Cardi have been in games?
We know David likes to attack. He likes to pass the ball as well too. So he's still getting into the flow, still getting to the team chemistry as well, finding where guys like the ball at. But I think he's doing a great job of just pushing the pace, getting the ball down the court, and I feel like he's doing a great job of that and being a leader on the court.
Yeah, same thing. I feel like David sees the floor well. He sees us. He makes the passes that we want. He knows how to run a fast break, so I feel like he helps us a lot.
Bruce, can you expand on that a little bit too, and maybe how you'll challenge him, what you want out of him now that he's playing more?
Now, with Sean gone, that now he doesn't. Maybe this will help him a little bit. He can relax. He knows he's going in. It's a big jump. Wyatt just asked on the post game, and I kind of compared to Montavious. Montavious' first 2 weeks practice, I told the coach he's got a red shirt. He's horrible, and then 3 weeks later, he's starting, and he's one of our most consistent guys. And you got to go through that growing, like he said, figuring out the team. And I think David's had to go through that. He had a couple really bad weeks of practice. he was just awful. And the only thing I'd like him to do, I told him the other day, he talked in practice, first time I've heard him talk since he's been here. And he, loud enough where everyone could hear him. And if he does push it, he can create, he sees the court. Thought he was too unselfish. He had a wide open 3 in the second half, should have shot it. He's a pretty good 3-point shooter. You look at Cardi 10-2 assists, turnovers, Mike McGurl 6-1, and David 4-1. So they're, between the 3 guys, it's 20-4. And one of the things we've struggled with is playmaking for each other, and it's something I've talked about and we've watched film on, and if we can continue to do that, I think it's going to help our shooting percentage. There's no doubt.
Do you know what Mississippi State brings, what you should be looking out for this weekend?
Reggie Perry was MVP of the World Championship, so, he's strong, physical, put his name in for the draft. I got to give him credit. He almost stayed in, and then he was the one who reached out to USA Basketball and said he wanted to be part of it. So he's a very good physical presence. They have another big guy inside, so they got 2 pretty strong guys. It means Levi Mack, Antonio have a challenge with that. That's why we're kind of hoping James Love would maybe be back. Maybe he can push it a little bit. And then the guard Carter's is good. And then they have a good freshman guard, the kid Molinar, I think the kid from California who we watched coming up. He played in Peach Jam and is a pretty good player. So Ben does a great job. I've known him forever. Obviously, his run at Pittsburgh, UCLA. My brother was assistant with him a long time ago. So it's a great opportunity for us, great venue, special game, never forget game, 9/11. Have a chance to see New York on Friday afternoon and Saturday after the game. But main thing is go get a win. And it's, I think somebody asked the other day, opportunities are slipping away. Well, this is a great opportunity for us in non-conference and help us to take a step forward.
Coach, 63% from the field. How much of that is just things going right on offense versus just making shots?
Well, I think moving the basketball helps. Good shots. The ball likes movement. I've told the guys that, and they'd laugh at me probably. It wants to be touched. It likes to move. When it gets energy, it seems to go in. Hopefully they were ready to play. I mentioned first thing that, disappointed, humbled, whatever you want to call it, came a lot better focused. But tomorrow's important. It's not going to be hard, but their focus has to be great. And that's up to those older guys to make sure that we're taking a step forward and don't go backwards.
Bruce, this is for you. I know after you guys came back from the Florida tournament and had the two losses, and I asked you after the Florida A&M game, just how much do you think the team needed that kind of win? Do you feel like the same now to kind of see how?
It helps.
Yeah,
not only winning but playing better. That's what I told them before. We got to play better. That it's habits. Basketball's a game of habits, and we have to create better habits as individuals, as a team, you have to, do the things we do and do them well. And, I think we're starting to figure out some roles and that, that hopefully will help us take pride in those roles. And, I hope they feel good about it, but they can't get too high. Now, that's what I just said. The focus tomorrow is got to be Mississippi State. I talked to the coaches today, and I didn't want to look ahead, but how are we got to get ready. We have a short window. They haven't had a game for, I think it's 8 days. So they've had much more preparation for us than we would have for them. And it's important to go there with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. This is huge for us. It's not pressure-wise, but just being ready to play.
Xavier, earlier, Bruce touched on just how long you've known Sean, just how tough was the news for you today when you heard what he was going to do?
It's definitely tough, growing up with him, being around him as a little kid. It's tough, but he has to make his own decisions now, become a man for himself, and I think he's going to do a good job of that and wherever he decides to go.
Did you at all try to maybe explain to him maybe staying here while that would be good, or did you say, well, man, you got to make your own choice?
Like I said, he's a man, got to make his own decisions. Of course, I wanted to see my brother stay, but at the end of the day, he's a man.
Coach, with Sean leaving, does that change or add anything on the recruiting trail for you guys?
Right now, I guess it gives us another spot. But, you still have, you recruited pretty much a team coming this next group. Hopefully have, my big thing was how we're going to replace Xavier and Mac. So I think we got to, we're still really feeling important to get a big guy. You hope Dejuan makes progress. Selton is a really good player. Between the two, you hope you can replace Xavier. You got David, you got Nigel as point guards with Cardi. Mike McGurl is taking some steps. So, I think the big need still is just a little more help on with those big guys, and that's what we've been searching for. And obviously, things can continue to change college basketball and how it is, but that's our main focus right now, and it's been since even November. We knew that, and we'll see. Next week we got a little time after the game. We got exam week. Won't have as many 2 days off practice, so we can get out recruiting and see some more kids.
Antonio, where did the blowing a kiss celebration come from with the threes?
One day in the summer, I was just shooting around, messing around with Cardi, and I just came up with it. So ever since then, he was like, "Yeah, that's tough. You got to do it in the game." So first exhibition versus Emporia, I started doing it. Been doing it ever since.
Stick it out the rest of the year?
Yeah, for sure.
Has anybody in the student section blown a kiss back at you?
Yeah, there's been a few. I gotten a few videos after the game to my phone, and I'm doing it. So.
What was your reaction to winning Coach of the Year?
One, it was just a special honor to coach USA basketball, and it's something, you have a wish list, a goal, or, a kind of a dream to have that opportunity. I had been involved as a committee member, as a court coach out at trials and things like that, but to have that opportunity, we had a great staff. Those guys, lifetime memory or friendships with Coach Hopkins and Coach Moulton, and then Shane did a great job for us, Southwell. We had a great team. And, I'm proud. I'm proud of what we did. We did it convincingly. You look at the stats. I don't have to brag about it. We did it pretty, we did our job pretty well. And just it's a nice honor. But I'm more worried about winning against Mississippi State than that. That it's something, that I'm proud of, but at the same time, I want these guys to be successful, and that's more important to me right now.
Antonio, how much does your ability to shoot the threes stretch out the defense and open up the rest of the
I just want to be able to play all around. I think it helps a lot the team that I can space the floor, but at the end of the day, I just want to play hard and win. So.